ever had a relative or a loved one in a nursing home or long-term care facility? Chances are that with hospitals shortening the amount of time that they are keeping their patients in the hospital, that you have known at least one person that has been in a long-term care facility or rehabilitation facility. But although all healthcare facilities more or less recently have been mandated to switch over to electronic records and electronic charting, there is a whole new set of problems that are developing with this. There is an inherent danger to patient privacy with allowing the use of the internet and social media and cell phones in the healthcare facility, and this needs to be stopped. Working as a nurse in one of these facilities, I can attest to the fact that a cell phone is a very important part of our day-to-day life. We use it to communicate with doctors and family members and even other staff members, and it makes everything run smoother and we can get more accomplished. But at the same time, how would you like it if somebody took your picture without you ever giving them permission to, while you were literally at your worst, and posted it for the entire world to see? Today we are going to discuss how the use of social media in the healthcare facility has been impeding on patient privacy, and the problems with this recent trend, and what we can do to stop this, because this needs to be stopped. But how can we start discussing how to fix this if we're not even sure what the problem even is at this moment in time? WGN, who is a news network in Chicago, writes along with Ornstein in her article that she wrote in 2015 that healthcare workers in nursing homes mainly have been using Snapchat very specifically to post pictures of patients that they do not deem appropriate and that are a huge violation of their privacy. What is Snapchat, you might be asking? Betters actually describes everything that Snapchat does and is in her article, but basically it is a service or an application that lets you post either a picture or video for up to 10 seconds, either to the people who you're specifically posting it to or on what's called a Snapchat story. And if you post it to the Snapchat story, then everybody who is following you has access to this for 24 hours. Now, what this does is it actually violates the Patient's Bill of Rights that the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services outline very well. And the patient actually, once they check into a location, has the right to especially privacy and a right to not be abused. And what is happening to these people is pretty much abused. And at the same time, according to the American Medical Association, all of these instances also violate HIPAA. Now, HIPAA is something that if you violate the patient privacy, actually you can get a very hefty fine and you can even get some jail time for this. But some of the things that have been happening is, Ornstein once again writes in her article that people have been posting pictures of people who have been naked in the bathroom, in the shower, and there is even an instance where this one woman was photographed while she was naked, covered in her own feces, and this was sent to everybody in this person's friend list pretty much on Snapchat, and that is absolutely unacceptable. But without proper oversight, there's really not a whole lot that the managers and the co-workers can do because they don't really have access to this story. So really what has happened is the people in the community have been the ones that have reported the people that have posted this. But how can we change something that hasn't really been a problem up until recently? Well, the solution really starts with us recognizing the fact that we are doing something very, very wrong. I think there needs to be a mandatory training that absolutely instills it in people that they are not allowed to use social media at work to discuss their patients under any circumstances. And we should never do things like become friends with their patients' families or patients themselves or random people who we don't really know. But if something makes you uncomfortable, then you should really try to report it to the proper authorities, because if it makes you uncomfortable to see it, there's a good chance that what was posted is not something that should have been there. But what would happen if we get away from this? What would happen is therapeutic communication, the kind of communication that we should have in the healthcare facility to begin with. We shouldn't be on our phones. We should be spending time with our patients. We should be paying attention to them and using all of our nonverbal language to get along with them and make sure they're doing okay. But instead of posting pictures, we should really focus specifically on our patients. But because most communication is nonverbal, we're really sending the wrong message if we're even checking our phone in front of them, let alone posting a video of them. But let's vow to make a change. Let's vow to make a change and not post things in social media that are inappropriate. And although none of the offenders knew that they're doing anything wrong, they really hurt these people. And one day, we too are going to get old, and how would we like it if somebody posted our videos and our pictures for the whole world to see without our permission? Thank you guys. Here's my next card.